Luna versus Communication by Andrew Joshua Taylor. Round 1. Fight! The early morning was cool and beautiful, as Celestia's sun slowly rose up over Equestria. Luna, having just finished studying the moon, was at the kitchen table in Sundance's apartment, and buried the surface in books and manuscripts. Wearing her glasses, she scribbled her way through several journals, abacus clicking away happily. With another sip of tea, Luna felt herself at total and complete peace. Sundance came into the kitchen, not so much as trotting as dragging herself to the table. She blinked at the books and journals and looked up slowly at Luna through a matted mane. I'm starting to wonder if I even had a table. I could bring in a new desk if you wanted, Luna said. Sundance shook her head. Nah, I don't have that much room, Sundance said. She dragged herself over to the fridge and opened it, rummaging around. She closed her eyes and took the milk and hoof. Then she turned it up and drank it. She spat it out. What's with the... She looked over at Luna. Weren't you supposed to get new milk, Princess Luna? She added in a more polite tone. Luna winced. Oh, sorry. I must have lost track of time. What was it this time? Her mind asked tiredly. Out loud, and in a far more polite tone. You did? Luna coughed. Man, yes, what? Sundance asked intently, trying out to her side. Luna flushed and gingerly held up one of her books. Zoning regulations? Sundance asked in disbelief. Luna flushed. Well, there's some considerable dispute currently in Philadelphia over reconstruction following the parasite plague, so I was trying to understand the roots of the council's problems. And then I need to look at the whole history, local politics, and construction histories. So you're telling me this entire mess is just a single issue? Sundance asked. Luna sighed. That's a big problem, Sundance immediately said. I got a bit carried away. Luna smiled. But it's so interesting. I mean, all these rules, all these fascinating overlapping laws with laws and compromises. Luna sighed happily. It's like archaeology through books. Sundance spotted a letter in a pile marked Sweet Apple Farms, right on top of a book on truth potions. She eyed it and smirked a bit, but Luna's look returned her placid expression. From Big Macintosh, she guessed. I mean, it's not my business, but we have exchanged letters, Luna explained. He is suffering from an injury, and his sister must see to the farm for the time being. The harvest is coming up soon. That's not all that's coming up soon, Sundance thought, the image of the Grand Galloping Gala already playing up in her mind. Luna had been so strange over the past few weeks, she hadn't been able to bring the subject up. She wished about it, but... Uh-oh. Have you been listening in on to any wishes lately? Just out of curiosity. Sundance asked. Well, since tonight I tried to avoid listening in on you two, Luna admitted. I don't want to embarrass you. You didn't. Sundance began automatically, but Luna's look said she instead. Yes, you did. I am sorry about that. Luna said, as well as embarrassing Hoyden. Sundance snorted. She does that himself, she muttered. Luna cocked her head. Sundance flushed. I'm sorry. I mean, yeah, in a different way. Actually, it's kind of his job. His job? Luna asked. I've not inquired what he does for a living. I will admit his cutie mark is very strange. A skull and a pair of crutches? Does it aid his vocation? Well... Ready, Hoyden? Asked his boss. Hoyden grinned and pulled his goggles down. Ready, boss. All right, let her up! Shouted Boss Pony. Pull! The tread bucket was released, and Hoyden went flying as a massive ballistic monster threw him into the air. Yeah! Boss, I gotta ask, his assistant began. Why do you insist on testing all these things on Earth ponies? Why not Pegasi? Why? The boss asked. Hoyden pulled the ripcord on his parachute and descending rapidly, landed at a nearby lake with a terrific splash. 'Cause that would take the fun out just to get safety gear, he said with a grin. Hoyden, you're still alive? Hoyden said as he surfaced. He waved his hood as an acknowledgement. Boss grinned. The assistant checked a line on his clipboard. Good. Let's move on to the rocket car. Awesome. Yes, it does. Sedan scrambled. How soon get himself killed? She saw Luna looking and smiling. But you know, from now on, it's okay to talk about Star Wishes. Just not in public, alright? Luna nodded. Alright. Then I would like to ask you a question. Well, certainly, Princess Luna, Sedan said. You complain about him a great deal. Yet you continue to date and wish for his well-being. Luna mused. You also struggle for dominance actively, while he's more passive about it. It's very fascinating to observe. Yes, very, Sundance mumbled, looking at where Luna was going with this. At Luna's look, she smiled back. Luna frowned. Is something wrong? No, nothing at all, Sundance said. Are you sure? Because if there's anything I can do to make anything easier, you just have to ask. Luna said. Sundance shook her head. No, everything's fine. Luna frowned. I see. Well, just so you know, I'm going to do something that will hopefully make things easier on both of us. Easier in what way? Sundance asked. Luna smiled. Easier for both of us to be honest with each other. Your Majesty? Sundance asked. It'll be fine. I think it's time we both try to be more genuine with each other. And there are many ways to make sure we have honest reactions, right? Sure. Sundance smiled back, but her eyes drifted down to the hallway, where the recently repaired holes left by the alarm clock were. The differently colored plaster stood out in the early morning light. I'm telling you, Hoyden, he's been acting really weird ever since that night, Sundance said with a sigh, staring at her daisy sandwich on the cafe table before her. Hoyden was eating his spicy oats on the other side, chewing thoughtfully before answering. Well, with her it's kind of hard to tell, he pointed out. He held his host defensively as Sundance saw him a look. I'm just saying. Sundance dropped a glare and adopted an expression of resignation. Yeah, I just thought with the meteor shower at Big Mac, we kind of maybe hit it off somewhat. Desi goes back to hiding behind her books and treating her abacus like her baby. Oh, come on. It's not that. She got it a little hat in its own little bed. I saw her tucking it in with a bedtime story, Sundance said flatly. Hoyden's jaw dropped. He covered his mouth with his hose to contain his laughter. It's not that funny, Sundance mumbled. She sighed a bit into her sandwich. I don't know, Hoyden. It's just that I thought we were making progress since that night, for the past few weeks, but she just... Well, she was in the moon for 1,000 years, Hoyden pouted out, and lived that way for a long, long time before. He added more hot sauce to his oats. He held the bottle above the table, so that the way the midnight sun would cast no shadow. I've had enough trouble breaking the habit of drinking milk from the bottle. You haven't broken the habit, Sundance said with a smile. Hoyden nodded. Well, there you go, he said. I'm more interested in this being honest thing, though. What do you think she's going to do? I don't know, Sundance said. I mean, I don't think she'll do anything particularly big, right? She's been doing a lot of potions and research in the last week. Yeah, but you know her, Sundance, Hoyden emphasized, leaning over the table and looking into her eyes. What if she reads Philly Mag and starts to hang out with the wrong crowd? Princess Luna, Huh? Sundance stopped at the door to the kitchen. Luna looked up with a huff, wearing tight black leather and heavy makeup. Around the table were several other oddly dressed ponies. It's Sally, Fargo, she sniffed. Sally the Barbarian Queen. My motorcycle sword will destroy the evil hippies with a single blow. On that pronouncement, she held up a pair of dice and threw them on the table. I don't believe it. Perfect 20! A pony wearing a cloak and bunk-like mask gasped behind a large book and series of notes. This is unreal! Luna smirked. Now, Desi Master, you're working with greatness after all. Sundance covered her mouth to stifle a giggle. I I think we're okay on that, Anne. It is Luna after all. You really think she would hang out with anyone really offensive? We are talking about the former Nightmare Moon, Hoying pointed out. That evil dominatrix look doesn't come from thin air, and we know she's got some issues. Evil what? Sundance asked. Hoying nodded. Oh yeah, Big Mac knows a guy who got a snaps of her in her full evil glory. He pulled out a picture from his saddlebag and hooked it over to her. Sundance stared in disbelief. Jeez, you're right. I can totally see it now, Hoying said as he held his hooves up to frame the imaginary scene. Look at my hooves, Wom! Luna demanded, wearing tight silvery leather as she cracked a whip over the back of Sundance. No, please, Mr. Sluna, spare me, she begged. Ah! This is your punishment, slave, purred Luna. Beg properly, cluck! Ah! Oh, my goddess, please have mercy, I love you! Sundance cried. Luna smirked, took hold of her chin with her hoof, raising her lips. Show me that love, she crooned. Listen up your goyards. Hoyden! 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 What? Hoyden asked quickly, sinking out of his reverie. Sundance scowled at him. You're drilling, she said suspiciously. With a guilty look, Hoyden coughed and looked down at his food. This food is just so good, he offered weakly. Sundance sighed. You were thinking of something naughty, weren't you? Well, yes, I was, Hoyden said, but it's possible she tried something of that nature to get you to really respond. Man, this guy has more dirty thoughts while talking to a girl than I do. And considering how many times I've had a dirty thought while talking to a girl online, that's a lot. Yeah, but given how she acts around Big Mac, I don't think she'd jump right to you. Sundance searched for the right mental image and looked carefully at Hoyden as he took a drink of sarsaparilla. Tight leather and a whip. Hoyden spat out his drink, eyes wide. Sundance smirked. Gotcha. Yeah, you're probably right. Hoyden coughed with a bless. Sundance looked back down at her sandwich with a thoughtful hum. I think the worst we have to worry about is her taking something a little too far, Sundance said, more out of the ignorance of the world than anything else. Like maybe she just decides to get a wardrobe change or something. She glared at Hoyden. That doesn't involve leather. I didn't say anything, Hoyden said. Yeah, I guess that is more likely. A little change in her image. Yeehaw! Right on my! Luna decked out a cowpar's paraphernalia greeted, kicking up her hose with a bright smile. Yeah, nothing big. Unless he decides to try to defy our expectations and go postal on her greatest nemesis. Wayne said. Her greatest nemesis? Sundance asked. Now, the world shall never know of the terror of baseball again! Luna cackled as he stood atop a burning Manhattan field, baseballs burning to ash at her feet. I love a good fic where I can ham it up. That's stupid, Sundance huffed. Hoyt shrugged. You asked. Oh, this is getting us anywhere, Sundance sighed. Maybe you should just relax. I mean, come on. She likes you a lot, Hoyt said. He shrugged. Of course, if you get out of line, she might punish you a little. Hoyt, your eyes are glazing, Sundance said flatly. Damn hot sauce. Right, Sundance sighed. You know, she might be planning on dosing you with a potion, Hoyt suggested. Sundance started. With a what? Well, yeah, Hoyt said. You said she had a book on truth potions out, right? Yes, but I can't believe she'd do something like that, Sundance said. You can't, Hoyt said, but I've done research into her time. Using potions for casual conversation was common. Really? Sundance asked. Wait, you've been doing research? Well, just to try and help out, Hoyt said. He shook his head. So you might think that potion use is the way to go at this point, as he's been looking for the right one. Oh, come on. She couldn't really, Sundance said. That's not like her. She did blow up a bar for a smack on the rump, Huang said. Sundance frowned. Well, and she keeps freaking out at things. Huang went up. He held up his hooves. I'll just think it's weird that she had that book out when she had stacks of stuff on zoning, that's all. No, she couldn't, Sundance muttered. Could she? The weeks of odd behavior and her inability to get Luna to lighten up were wearing on Sundance. Her cutie mark was that of a smiley-faced sun. It was her gift to make others happy. If Luna wasn't happy enough, what would she do? Luna looked about, resting back on her hind legs. Her foes surrounded her on all sides, their black eyes staring at her without an inch of pity. They seemed to close in without even moving, their mighty bulk making her feel small and powerless. Luna shot them all a defiant glare. She was Princess of the Moon, a living, breathing goddess. She would not be stopped. She leaped forward and struck her nearest foe with a mighty strike of her hooves. Squeak! Luna's size, she stuffed the pink dragon, barely moved from her attack, and looked up at her sister. Sister, must I really do this? She asked. Luna Celestia nodded with a smile. Oh yes, it's very good practice for the real thing. The real thing consisted of a half-dozen crimson dragons, Luna said flatly. Celestia smiled. Yes, it did. We're starting small. Now, come on, give it another try. Fine! Luna sighed as she struck the dragon plushie again. Squeak! Ah, adorable. Celestia sighed. Sister! Luna groaned. Celestia chuckled as Luna flew out to the balcony, looking very unhappy. Can I be blamed for wanting to see my sister do something cute? Celestia asked. She gave her a mischievous look. Luna sighed. Besides, it's good for stress relief, Celestia added. You seem a bit stressed. It's Sundance, Luna explained. She's been acting very guarded around me. I don't like it. Oh, Celestia asked. Luna nodded. Yes, so I want to make her reactions more honest. I don't want to be treated like a princess. I have much the same problem, Celestia said. Everyone is so scarce around me, regardless of how I act. It's the price of power, I'm afraid. Luna nodded. Yes, but we were acting so familiar before. Relationships are not always constant, as you well know, Celestia said, leaning forward to nuzzle her sister's cheek. Luna flushed and nodded. Yes, I know, but there's no darkness here, just awkwardness. Well then, Celestia said, do you have a plan to deal with it? Luna thought about it. Yes, I do. Oh, good, Celestia said with a smile. Do you need my help with it? No, I don't think so, Luna said. It's perfectly scientific. I am very confident in success. Are you sure? I'm not too bad with plans myself, Celestia said with a wink. Luna huffed. You don't have to show off. She growled slightly. Celestia giggled and kissed Luna on the cheek. It's not showing off if it works, my dear sister, Celestia told her. Sundance and Huang arrived at her apartment sometime later. Sundance looked around carefully, trying to discern if Luna was about to leap out at them. You're acting like she's a dragon lying in wait, Huang joked. Sundance scowled back down. She's a goddess. It pays to be cautious when something might be big. Ah, but you're just going to talk, right? Huang asked. Sundance nodded. Yes, we are. But I'm not sure how to break the ice, though. Well, we could always do something to pass the time, Huang said, coming up beside her to nuzzle her. Sundance giggled and shook her head. Come on, knock it off. I just want a kiss, Huang said, looking hurt. Sundance sighed and smiled. Well? Their lips drew closer together, and just before contact, hello! Ah! Oh, that can't be sorry. Hello, Princess Luna. Don't think of it, Sundance said. Actually, I wanted to talk to you. Then call it wait. I'm making dinner, Luna said. She tried back into the kitchen, adjusting her apron that covered her forelimbs. On top of the stove, she had several pots bubbling, as their contents were cooked. Sundance blinked. Her eyes went over a series of cookbooks on the counters. Princess, is it a little early? She asked. Luna shook her head. I don't think so. The book said it was going to take a while, so I started early. She smiled cheerfully as she used her magic to set the spoons in the pot stirring. Now sit back and relax, all right? Luna's tail bumped the table, and the book fell off. Sundance caught it with her mouth, placed it back on the table. Her eyes caught the tile. 101 truth potions, truly and honestly. She felt a chill go down her spine. She slowly looked up at the smiling Luna. Something wrong? No, Sundance said. She turned to Hoyin. Hoyin and I have something to discuss in my room. We'll be right out. Sure, take your time, Luna said, reading through the cookbook. Sundance pulled Hoyin into her room and kicked the door shut behind him. Hoyin blinked. Am I missing something? Isn't this a good thing? She's just cooking dinner. Yes, just cooking dinner, Sundance said. With a truth potion book out? Maybe she forgot to put it away, Hoyin suggested. Sundance shook her head. No, she's been acting so weird lately. She wants me to be more honest. Maybe she's just going to use magic to fix her problems instead of talking about them. Huh? Hoyin asked. That sounds a little paranoid. Well, what am I supposed to think? Luna hasn't cooked at all for weeks, or done anything. Oh, Celestia, there have been so many books out. Sundance right up the top of her head wearily. I haven't gotten anything right. She's going to insist I do it this way. Or maybe she's just cooking dinner, Hoyin suggested. Sundance shook her head, looking a bit paranoid. No. She's been moping and weird for weeks, and now she wants me to be more assertive and honest, and now she's all smiles. No, she's got this planned out. Why? Mares are crazy. Ow! What? No, it just feels wrong, Sundance said. So why not comfort her? Hoyin suggested. With what? Hey, Princess Luna, are you going to close me with a Yahtzee potion? Sundance asked flatly. Hoyin slowly looked over at the baseball pennant for the Candlelight Nights Sundance had posted up in her room. Sundance looked at her. Then she shook her head. Oh no. Now be sure to blow up the house. Not if you were a little subtle about it, Hoyin suggested. The baseball is just out of sight. Slowly reveal to get what you want. It works in police books. I don't know, Sundance mumbled. Hoyin shook his head. Look, you're the one who was scared about what she's up to. It's up to you. Sundance looked guiltily over at the dresser drawer, where she kept her lucky baseball. She bit up her lower lip. What? Now add the chives, the roots, after cutting. Luna thought to herself. She was very pleased with herself for learning how to cook. In the end, it wasn't much different from simple chemistry or potions making. A wonderful subtle art, that, she thought to herself. The door to Sundance's room opened up quietly. Luna didn't notice as he continued reading the book. Boil for just 10 minutes? Silently, Sundance and Hoyin kept towards Luna. Hoyin was holding the baseball in his mouth, ready to give it to Sundance at the right moment. Now, with the rate of heat expansion times the relative temperature, Luna mused. She frowned and turned around. I need my... Hoyin tried to move to cover her at the same time Sundance did. They slammed into each other, and a jolt knocked the baseball from Hoyin's mouth. It flew up into a nearby cabinet and bounced off of it, just in time for Luna to turn around and send a noise and see it hitting straight for her face. Her eyes widened and her horn glowed. Beep! A blast of air as he let the horn and sent it shooting towards the random direction, while breaking the sound barrier. Unfortunately, said direction was right in the oven, smashing the gas lines and letting the heat take over from there. Foam! Luna cried as the entire stove went up in flames. Sundance, seeing this, grabbed the mop bucket and began filling it up with water. Luna was far more practical. She ripped the plumbing sink right out with telekinesis and directed the water over the fire. The flames now doused. Luna looked mournfully at the destroyed kitchen and over at Sundance. Sundance dropped the bucket out of shock and found herself gaping in disbelief at Luna. Why did you do that? You didn't have to rip everything out. It's just a baseball. The fire alarm went off, and very late, the The sprinklers in the apartment came on and doused them all. Sundance looked up, looked back at Luna, and sighed. Oh, are you alright? Luna asked timidly. Sundance shook her soaking wet mane as he looked down on the floor. No, no, I'm not. Maybe I should just move to the fire next to the fire department. Luna thought miserably as she, Sundance, and Hoyen sat outside the fire department, gave the kitchen a look over. Sundance in particular looked unhappy, staring down at the ground. Sundance, whatever I did to make you upset, I am very sorry, Luna said. No, I'm sorry, Sundance said with a sigh. I was the one who had the baseball. Why then? Luna asked. Sundance looked away, ashamed. You've been acting so weird over the last few weeks that I thought you might have been planning to douse me with a truth potion. Sundance mumbled. Luna's eyes widened and thought, What? No, I would never. I just forgot to put the old book away, really. She reached over and rested a hoof on Sundance's shoulder. I thought you were unhappy with my presence, but whenever I asked you about anything, you said you were fine. I didn't listen on your wishes because I didn't want to embarrass you. Again. If we had just talked about this, none of this would have happened. Sundance sighed. I'm really sorry, Your Majesty. I'm sorry, too, Luna said. Both points looked at Hoyden, who blinked. What? Hoyden? Okay. I'm sorry for suggesting that we use the baseball to get the truth out of you, Princess Luna. And the casual potion use thing. It's all right, Luna said. I mean, I can pay for all the diamonds. Why don't we just split it? Sundance suggested with a smile, since we both contributed. But, Sundance, Luna tried, but her roommate interrupted. No, we're both paying for it, and that's final, Sundance said. She shrunk back a little at Luna's shocked look, but recovered when she smiled. All right, it's final, she said. Sundance smiled back. Good. So, now that you've made up, Hoyden said, raising a hoof, one question. Where are you going to live while the house is repaired? Well, we could just stay in my room, Luna suggested. Sundance smiled. Oh no, I couldn't. Yes, you can. And you will, Luna said. It's the least I can do. Well, all right. Yeah, Hoyden said. What's the worst that could happen? Ow!